Welcome to Just the Tip. We are coming at you with a special edition Thanksgiving pregame episode. Who's ready for dinner with the family?
So I was listening to a KUOW story. KUOW is the local NPR station in Seattle, and they were discussing how Thanksgiving is coming up tomorrow, and everyone is having tension around the holidays and conversations over dinner with their family. And they were polling people to see who does talk about politics and who does not talk about politics. And so tonight, Mike and I were talking about it, and it really made me think that we need to trend something. We need to trend #RuinDinner, because I think that these political conversations absolutely need to happen. If you can't stomach having a conversation with your ignorant ass family to get them to open up their eyes to what's actually happening in the world, who else is going to have that conversation? I think people need to #RuinDinner. I think that they need to actually have uncomfortable conversations when it's surrounding something as detrimental as human lives and human suffering. This isn't about sports.
Yeah, there's just too much riding on it, right? I mean, there's always been too much riding on it, but we need to be uncomfortable for a meal.
I mean, to be fair, we both have families that are pretty much in
don't-
line with what we
Yeah,
think. So, we're not ruining our dinner.
I mean, we could get on Facebook and ruin someone else's dinner.
I mean, I had one friend, not even a friend. I had one person who I had on Facebook who I had gone to school with before, who was a Trump supporter, and I deleted them during the election. So I don't have a Facebook that's full of anyone who believes anything different.
So
Minus all the family, the older relatives who send those religious chain letters.
So you didn't ruin dinner with that person. You just cut them out of your life.
I don't need to have someone
made
from
your bubble
6th grade.
You made your bubble stronger.
Yeah, I strengthened my bubble.
Let's not make our bubbles stronger.
No, but seriously,
Because
I
some
think
of us
that
I'm in a bubble, for sure.
We are, and we're very fortunate, but I think that even within the scopes that we exist in, I think that we still have opportunities to educate the people around us. You have friends who I will not say their names to not embarrass them, but you have friends who have used certain language that is so outdated that I've been we both have looked at each other did that person just say that? And you've actually said something to them before. So
Yeah, and now we've had many conversations about it.
You and that friend?
Uh-huh.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
What, how's it gone?
God. Well, it's so hard to say without actually getting into the details.
Well, just in general, just generally, how has the conversation gone?
Like you'd expect. I think there's growth. But I think there is real growth.
Did that person come back to you after?
I mean, yeah, we've talked about it. I think they're actually thinking about it now. And the funny thing is that this person can say, well, Mike, you have used that same language with me when in our youth. And it's well, yes, but I have evolved and I want you to evolve with me now.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Just because my friends may be wondering, no, Mike doesn't have friends using the N-word that he's having to talk about. It's a different word. But still, I think that it's really cool. So do you remember if the first time after you said something to that person, did they bring it up to you again, or how did it come up again?
Well, yeah, we talked about it on a little car ride. We were on a little multi-hour car ride, and we talked about it. But we talked about exactly this. We talked about the conversation versus cutting people out.
And what did they say?
They were saying we need to have conversations because they were saying that we need to have the conversations, and they were saying that they feel more liberal side isn't willing to have the conversation.
It's so hard to be the adult in the room. That's what I hear. Well, they're a child. It's you have to have more. You have to be open to talking to this 2-year-old. It's we're fucking adults.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to be the adult in the room, and it's really hard to be the one who's standing on the right side of history and watching someone be extremely ignorant when that ignorance has actual ramifications to human lives. It's hard to be open. I think whereas I shut out someone from 6th grade and deleted them from Facebook is different than your family who you don't get to choose. And I think that when you shut off a conversation with a family member who you have this dynamic history with, hopefully it's like with love and memories, it really challenges you to realize people aren't all good or bad. There are really well-intentioned people out there who are just very ignorant. And I just think that we have these missed opportunities to really challenge the people around us to be better and to evolve their thinking. And it's like planting little seeds where maybe it feels like you're not making any progress during that conversation. But are you stopping the conversation to make someone else feel comfortable? Like, what is the reason that you stop the conversation? Usually it's because someone is uncomfortable, so you do it to appease them. We need to be okay with sitting in the discomfort of these difficult conversations. My mom has said ignorant stuff in the past where I've like had to say, do you realize what you sound like? That's crazy. And she kind of like laughs at me, but I know that she's never said those things around me again. And I think like maybe similar to what happened with you, you plant a seed and someone thinks about it. So we want you to #ruin dinner.
Yeah, you don't have to go for the win on Thanksgiving. Like, you can get the ball rolling, #ruin dinner a little bit, and just get it into someone's head. I mean, I don't know. It's your family.
So speaking of Thanksgiving and how we had just figured out a solution for what time we were going to leave for Thanksgiving dinner with Mike's family, because I am #always late, we decided we would leave for dinner at 12:30. That time has already changed. We talked about it and had to like renegotiate. And so it's kind of hilarious. The time is now leaving at 1.
So she comes to me and says, so what time do we have to be there? While standing in front of the whiteboard on the fridge that says, leaving at 12:30 Thanksgiving. It says it right there. So I just point to the sign where it says 12:30. I just literally pointed to it because that's what our agreed upon time to leave. And she keeps saying, no, well, like, what time do we have to be there? And I'm just like, I just kept pointing to the sign. And then I said, okay, you know what? You want to change the time to 1 o'clock that we leave? So I let her know, okay, you can erase the time and write 1 now. So she erased the time. Aisha wrote 1 o'clock now. And I think that means that it is working still, because if this happened yesterday at 12:30, where she says...
You mean tomorrow?
Tomorrow. If she says, oh, I'm not ready yet, can we push it back to 1?
Because I would have done that at 12:30.
Yeah, to me that wouldn't have worked. But doing it ahead of time, anticipating your needs of, I know I'm not going to make 12:30, I'm doing this and this. So now we've changed the time, and now I can expect you to be ready at 1 o'clock. And I think it's working. So, well, we'll see. I mean,
fingers crossed. It may not work. So for you to be the person who is on the receiving end in this situation, meaning I'm the one who has to improve upon something, I'm the one who has like an area for growth, a weakness. Do you think that this is like our 4th or 5th attempt, I think, at trying to figure out a way to communicate proactively timing? How do you think this went? Like, do you feel better so far about using this process?
I like this better so far because it's transparent. It's in the middle of the kitchen where we both see it. And it's not one of those things where you can... Because it happens in the past where you'd be like, oh, well, we pushed the time back and didn't we push it back to 1:30? Because, like, if we just talk about it and if it's not in writing, then Aisha can find a way to be like, no, we said 1:30 though.
I think I was supposed to be a litigator. For sure.
No, a litigator needs to... You're just taking advantage of the village idiot with me sometimes.
You're not the village idiot.
No, I know, but it's like... sometimes I can't actually say I remember for sure.
Well, because a lot of times you don't remember. You just already remembered not wanting to push the time back, so it all blends in. You're already like, well, we're not getting there when I wanted to, so I think it's just like, how it's all miserable for you.
I think I actually usually remember, but you'll be so sure about it. And I'm like, fuck, I can't actually remember the last time that we said. And then there's also like, sometimes I would text you the time in Messenger so that we have like a record of it. But then it doesn't, in the moment, you're not going to check your phone, go through your history and say, oh yeah, that's what time Mike said we have to leave by.
So if you all are still listening, this is why Mike just defaults to listening to me, because I don't have to do all that mental gymnastics to remember that we did say we were pushing it back. That's why you don't even argue, like you don't even go back and forth with me, because that's like, you just took us into your thought process and I left no less confused as when I entered. Your mind is like a corn maze. So yeah, I think that's really good. Speaking of corn, it's an okay transition. So I think our favorite recipe so far is the overnight oats. I redid the recipe and I used cinnamon and dark chocolate chips. And honestly, as I ate that, the dark chocolate chips were like little treats. It was like little flavor treats that you would bite into, and we're eating way less sugar anyway, but not intentionally, and it just felt like heaven.
Yeah, I loved it. The funny thing is that I actually, as much as I can eat dark chocolate by the fistful, I didn't actually need it in the overnight oats because of the fresh fruit. The fresh fruit for me gives me all of that sweetness. But I like my chocolate to be super rich and on its own.
You're a purist.
Yeah.
You're
as soon as you like surround it with all this other stuff, it like blends in too much.
That would be the best Instagram like bio for you. Chocolate purist. Give me your phone. I'm updating it right now.
No, I told my coworkers that you wanted to make my handle Carpool Dad. What was it? Carpool Dad 79 or something. And no one thought it was funny at all.
Well, I'm a little okay. So I'm not a hit with the finance crowd.
No, you are. They all want to meet you.
Well, they've known you for literally 3 months. They don't even know you.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know you yet. I did want it to be I wanted your Instagram handle to be Carpool Dad, like 79 or something. And you're like not a dad and you wouldn't drive a carpool. But I thought it was cool.
If anything, not a dad would be cool.
I really wanted it to be Body by Trey.biz. If anyone watched Broad City, bonus points if you know what episode that's from. Body by Trey.biz.
We kept that as the link in my bio.
Yeah, for a while. Now it's about how you lost 30 pounds. I went vegan.
Now it's a link to the podcast.
Sidebar, these berries are hella expensive, and I swear it was like one raspberry went bad, and then all of them are bad now. And then like one strawberry got like a little fuzz on it. And they're all bad. And I just feel like when one is fucked up, you can't even if they look okay, it's like birds of a feather flock together. And I just don't know if I should eat this. Oh, there's also a recall on romaine. So, yeah.
So, actually, I had lunch with my mom.
The planet's dying.
I had lunch with my mom today. And her salad had romaine in it. And she bought it Saturday. And we didn't know. Like, we tried to look online and we couldn't find when they pulled stuff off the store shelves. So she took a bite and then was like, I'm not, this isn't appetizing to me anymore. And she just put the lid back on it and didn't eat it.
Honestly, like, yeah.
Yeah, if you've ever had food poisoning, nothing is worth the risk.
I've only had alcohol poisoning.
You've had food poisoning.
Have I?
Remember?
When?
When I had it and then it was like you got a stomach virus, I think, from me.
Oh, that's like hella gross. Like, I got a virus from you.
It was awful.
I mean, it wasn't an STD, so thank God. But it was just like food virus. Okay, so yeah, I am excited to hear everyone's stories from Thanksgiving. It's really a fucked up holiday to even celebrate, but that's like probably another episode, a different day, very heavy. But I think while we're enjoying this festive holiday with family and friends, maybe you should make a donation to Indigenous people. Because this is literally a bullshit holiday, quote unquote. But I know that people love having time off work. and eating and getting food comas. We will report back on how our first vegan Thanksgiving goes. And I think you should hashtag ruin dinner.
Oh, my mom told me today that she's going to make vegan stuffing.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, we were talking about the cranberry sauce at work. We had like a really in-depth conversation about holiday foods.
Oh, yeah. Okay, people out there, listeners, what kind of cranberry sauce do you like? I love the homemade cranberry sauce.
Everyone agreed with you. And they were looking at me like, you like the jelly? And I can. And I was like, yeah, I love the squiggly lines on it.
I'll eat it for sure.
I think that my mom just didn't make. Mom, what did you make from scratch cranberry sauce? I don't remember.
Okay, bye.
Bye.